Hi everybody, so we've got today the Summer Dior collection. I've picked up both of the different eyeshadow quints, so I'm going to try these on side by side next to each other. I've also picked up one of the new bronzers and one of the, well, the only highlighter slash glowy blush, which is what I'll be calling it, the coral one. I'm not showing you them, I'm sure you've already seen them, but you will see them when I try them on very soon. I've also picked up 4 new lip products from this collection, all different types of lip products. So I'm looking forward to trying all those on and maybe combining a few at some point. I think I'll try them on throughout the video, as I have done many times, so you can really get to see them. And I've also got today something I'm more excited about than I thought I'd be, in all honesty, and that is the Victoria Beckham makeup brushes. They look incredible. I can't wait to try them. I hope they perform as well as they look, because right now I think they're the most beautiful brushes I've ever seen, honestly. And I've got some comparisons I'll be doing for you with the products I'll be showing you, and I've also got swatches in the direct sunlight. So plenty to show you today, plenty to get on with, so let's get straight into it. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah, I'm 48, I'm not a professional, I'm just somebody who really loves makeup and beauty. And here on my channel, I like to show you the latest releases, my favourite looks, and give you any beauty news you might be interested in. If you think you'd enjoy this content, I would really love it if you subscribe to my channel. So many people watch without subscribing, but it really does help me ever so much if you do. So if you could, please do, and I would be so grateful. And if you're already subscribed, welcome back. Thank you for being here. And my skin tone for matching with these shades, I've got fair to light skin with cool undertones that lean a tad neutral, and I've got blue eyes. Anyway, that's enough about me. Let's get straight into this video. And a quick update on my hair. If you've been following me, you may know that I've been trying to get curls in the same way my hairdresser did it. So I ended up getting the Dyson Airwrap, and I'm on day 2 of trying to make the Airwrap work. Yesterday was my first attempt on wash day, and it looked better than this. And they basically came out, which I expected, because it's so silky soft on wash day. I know there's all sorts of tricks. I've been watching all the videos, I've been trying everything. So this is my day 2 of having to recurl, and I feel like it's too fuzzy. It's not perfect, it's not silky soft. I've got flyaways despite using anti-frizz and heat protectant and all sorts. So I'm not giving up on it, because I do think I at least have a curl and it's in the sort of shape I want, but I don't like it. So we just have to go with it today, guys, because this took me ages. But we'll see. I will keep you updated on my journey of whether I end up just going straight back to my Air Straight and giving up on the Airwrap. I hope not, because I'm really enjoying using it, but I don't know if my hair is loving having it done. Anyway, let's get straight into this review. So the first thing we will look at, I think, is the bronzer. So I don't have a swatch video for this, because it quite literally landed through my door this morning, well, 10 minutes ago, which is why I've waited to film, because the other products arrived yesterday. So I waited for this before I film. So we have this gorgeous fabric on the top, and then nice mirror as always, and here it is. Isn't that beautiful? I would expect all of the gold to vanish, so I do wonder if my first application with this will be a little bit shimmery because of the gold spray. So I'm not quite sure how good this review can be when I'm showing you that, because it could be a bit unrealistic. So I'll see what it looks like when I swatch it anyway. But I want to show you straight away how this looks compared with, what was it called? The Natural Bronze Glow. This one's called the Nude Blondes. Here we go, my words are off already. The Nude Bronze Glow is the one I've got here, and the one I've got from last year was called the Natural Bronze Glow. So they're the same shades and they look exactly the same to me. In fact, they have exactly the same numbers. This one is 032 Pink Bronze and this one is 032 Pink Bronze. So as many of us suspected, it's looking very much like this is an identical product, just in different packaging and with an overspray. So a complete waste of my time getting it, but I wanted to show you if there was any difference, which is why I did get it. So I hope this is helpful in preventing you from buying it if you've already got this one. Although we will do a swatch comparison. And I also know that I can't use this as a bronzer because it's way too warm on me, but I will use it just for today. I think for me this is always going to be a a blush. So we've got a bit of highlight, a little bit of pink blush shade, and then we've got the bronze. So let's see if that gold spray is going to come off. I don't think it is too much actually. I got a lot there, a lot. I did go around it a lot, so I'm trying to get rid of the gold spray and destroy that pretty design on the top. So that's how it looks. And now if I swatch the one from last year, we can just see if there's any difference. It does seem lighter. Maybe I got less powder on my finger. This is the one from last year and this is the one now. Maybe it's the gold spray making it look a bit deeper. I'll just show you how it looks, by the way, after swatching around it, which will give you an idea of how long the gold spray and the prettiness lasts. So literally a good swipe around the pan and it's gone. It just feels very thick and chunky compared with the other one, which is quite smooth. I don't know if that's the gold spray, but it does feel like very thick. And look at this swatch here, how thick and sort of almost pieces of it. And just do that again quickly with the other one. So this is again last year, that one's this year. There's no way this is a bronzer on me, no way on earth. So I'm going to look quite ridiculous if I use it as a bronzer in all honesty. I just have to go very, very lightly, but I know for a fact if I was going to buy this for myself, which in all honesty I wouldn't, I don't think is helpful to me at all in my collection, but if I was, I would just use it as a blush because I know that I can get that sort of bronzy, slightly pinky tone, which would just about work as a brush. Here we go, blush. But I'm using my Rapha, so look at that, look how much powder it immediately picked up. So this is the Rapha 22. My face is completely bare, just powdered at the moment. So I'm going to tap this on with this brush. I use this brush every day now for bronzer because I need the tiniest little bit of bronzer with my skin tone. And I like the way a big brush like this just picks up a little bit and just distributes it quite evenly without getting too much. So that's the first go, and you can see that's not too bad, so I can dip back into it. Yeah, I can just about get away with that actually. Looks a lot better than it did on, oh, I've wiped my hand off, than it did on the back of my hand. I think I've got myself all frazzled trying to do my hair, and my brain power has run out, and we haven't even started this review. So prepare yourself for lots of word mistakes and confusion. Today for me, I'm apologising in advance. Also my camera app has decided to kindly do this upgrade and it's completely changed on my monitor here. Everything has changed and it's really confusing me as well. Anyway, so there we go. I've actually gone in with a lot more than I thought I could. It's not that bad actually. I don't remember thinking it was great last year, and again it's definitely it's too warm for me as a bronzer. But I can sort of get away with it. I think if I was wearing tan, that would look better because obviously if you look at the colour and compare it with my complexion, but it's given me that sort of nice bronze. And you know, one thing I knew I wanted to do straight away was not put it on this cheek because I wanted to show you the Coral Glow on its own, and I've already done that. I'll go over this side with my foundation brush to try and take it down a bit. So you can see on this side where I haven't taken it down how it definitely works as a sort of blush shade on me and very warm. I definitely want to go in with a finishing powder to fix the way that that's sitting, but that's how it looks if I don't do that. I think I'll quickly go in and do that now, and then on this side I've taken it down by just going over it with the foundation because I want to show you the Coral Glow, like I said, on its own. So if I just put a bit of finishing powder over this side, so hopefully I've got more of a clear cheek there now. This is my YSL finishing powder, which I use all the time. So that is how it's looking. It is pretty actually, and it definitely works as a summer bronzy shade, doesn't it? And you could use it on the eyes and get quite a cohesive look for a really simple, glowy look. I still feel like I've got too much there, but I'm hoping when I go in with my eyeshadow and everything else, I'll make that look a bit better. I do want to swatch it just once more to see if that sort of heavy layer is gone and if it looks the same now as last year. It has lost that thickness actually, that sort of chunkiness. So just one more time, last year's and this year's. It is still ever so slightly deeper. So not identical, but 95% identical. But I do much prefer the packaging on this because it's pink and because we have animals and all sorts. I think it's beautiful actually. I really, really like it. So that's a plus side. Would I have bought this if I wasn't reviewing it? No way, I wouldn't. I don't think it's really something I'm going to use again. I have never gone back and used this one. But anyway, I'll try to use it a bit as a summery look, but I've got much better bronzers I'd rather use, and I don't really want to blush this shade. I don't think. It's okay. That's all I can say. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did you buy it? And if you did, do you like it? And I do hope you didn't get last year's if you got it, because you're going to find out that it's so similar. Anyway, let's move on now to the Dior Forever Glow Luminizer. And this is the Coral Glow, I think it's just called. Yeah, 004 Coral Glow. These are limited edition, by the way, so these aren't coming back. And that usually does mean they aren't coming back with Dior. So if you like the look of this, I would grab it. It does have a bit of a gold overspray, which reminds me a little bit of the one we had with the Chanel highlighter over Christmas. I don't know if you remember this one. If you look at this, you can still see a little bit of the gold overspray on the very edge where I haven't got to it. And a lot of people tried this on and got specks of glitter all over their face, and they were put off it instantly. I got quite a bit of it myself. And then the more I used it, the more I didn't get it because this overspray started to vanish. And now it has completely vanished, apart from this bit here, which I seem to miss with my brush when I go in. So I'm going to go around it to try and, I will actually destroy the beautiful embossing to try and get rid of the overspray as much as I can, so that if we do see speckles, we might know if it's what's from below. Or is it, you know, hopefully off the, that's the only, it's a really big problem when you're swatching in store or when you're reviewing because of this overspray. But I actually like the way it sparkles, so I'm kind of hoping it's all the way through, in all honesty, because when I swatched it yesterday, wow, this is gorgeous. So I'll just show you on the back of my hand before I show you my swatch video in natural daylight, but look at that. Anyway, here's my swatch video. And some information on this. This summer Dior Forever Glow Luminizer Highlighter Powder takes on a new look with the House Hallmark, which you can see there. The Toit de Jus motif, I'm sure I've said that wrong, on both the compact and the powder. You can sort of see it, but it's going to vanish in a flash. So they're copying basically what we've got here on the outer packaging on the embossing. This highlighter reveals a stunning glow in a new limited edition duochrome coral shade Coral Glow, capturing the essence of summer on the French Riviera. Dior's unique powder formula concentrates pearlescent micropigments that shine with crystalline brilliance in a clear gel base that blends seamlessly with the skin and diffuses the light in its purest intensity. So it is duochrome, so when I see the way it swatches, I don't think what I'm seeing and loving is to do with the spray, but I am seeing a little bit of gold sparkle, which I think is the overspray. So I'm just going to really go over and over and over to try and take off the overspray. I'm just doing it with my finger because obviously I don't want to damage the product in any way. I just want to get as much of it off as I can. So I've gone over it now about 3 or 4 times. Still looks like there's sparkle, but maybe less. But I think the gold sparkle is running through. I'll swatch that one more time, having gone over and over and over it. So I don't think it's making any difference. I think the gold sparkle is there to stay. So you are going to be happy with seeing little bits of sparkle. It's not going to be completely smooth and sparkle free. They're not like chunks of glitter or anything, but you are going to see little particles. I wanted to compare this with a couple of products to see if there's any similarities, one of them being the Rare Beauty Joy. So I'll just put them next to each other here. Definitely not the same shade, but I'm still going to compare them because, well, I've got them out now, so why not? Rare Beauty Joy, not remotely similar in shade. This is much more of a pinky coral. Joy is much more of an orange, really. The shine is the same though. Once again, showing how the Rare Beauty blush is a highlighter, really. I've got the RMS in Mai Tai. So let's put those next to each other. Again, less of a pink, more of an orange, the Mai Tai, but maybe you want to just see if they are similar in shine. Slightly more similar in colour actually. Very similar in shine. I'd say there's possibly a bit more shine though with the new Dior. And Mai Tai is obviously a blush, it's a glowy blush, so that should be the case really. And then I've also got the House Labs in Fire Opal. Again, not a shade match by any means, but I don't buy a lot of sort of corally highlighters because it's not really my thing. I tend to go for pinks. I do adore this one from House Labs though. So this one's got more gold and less pink, but it's got more of a shift. It's sort of, when I turn my hand, you can see it sort of has the same pink here as the Dior and the same gold, just more of a shift of it. So this is like the really, really souped up version, I'd say, of this Dior. So if you like this, but you want one that's a little bit less, well, I wouldn't say wild because I think it's stunning. But if you want to go for something a bit more subtle and you like that shade, that could be a good option. They're actually quite similar, aren't they? And then the other thing I just want to compare to is the new Fenty Suede blush, which is so glowy, the shimmering one, Just a Crush. Softest blush ever. This one's definitely more orange, but I just wanted to show you how I think the formula of Fenty is slightly smoother. And the glow is bigger with this one. But it's funny how this is a coral and it looks the least coral out of all of these. It looks more pink, doesn't it? So anyway, hopefully that's given you a couple of ideas of things you might already have in your collection that are very similar. I haven't bought the previous coral ones from Dior. Like I said, I tend to go for the pinks. But anyway, you might already have the ones I've shown you and then you can think about whether or not you want this one. But before I try it on, I want to get a lip colour on because I do want to spread these out throughout the video. So I've picked up a new shade here in the Glow Oil. So this is Pink Pop 096. This is Lip Care infused with cherry oil. Dior Addict Lip Glow Oil. I'm trying to turn it from there, look. Instantly nourishes, protects, softens and revitalizes the lips. Beautiful, beautiful doe foot on this one. So this one is combining lip care in a flattering colour finish with an ultra luminous result. Oh god, the doe foot on this is so good. My lips were so dry, I just loved putting that on then. Just getting that instant hydration. It's a little bit of the raspberry Pink Pop colour, but not a lot, but it's definitely bringing the shine. It's made my lips look so much better. So it's bringing a bit of colour, plenty of shine, a grippy, non-sticky, non-gloopy oil, beautiful oil actually, a really, really nice oil. Lovely everyday oil that actually, really like it. I can't remember if I've tried any other of the lip oils from Dior. I think I have. I'm not going to dig through them now, but anyway, this is one of the new shades. I think there's 3 new shades. One of them is a sort of bluey green, but I've got that coming in the Maximizer, so I didn't go for it with this one. So this is 096 Pink Pop. So let's get back to the highlighter, and now I can look at one of these Victoria Beckham brushes because I've got a fan brush. This is not natural, this is synthetic. Look at the colours in there, and then look at this handle. Sort of ergonomic, beautiful to hold, walnut wood I believe. We've got the number written on here so we know which one's which. Not that I'm ever likely to remember which one's which. But look at it, and it is so soft. Honestly, if you gave this to me and told me it was natural, I would believe you. And this is, I've never used a natural, or seen, sorry, because I haven't used it yet. I've never seen a natural brush like it. I mean, Victoria Beckham, if she was going to do anything, it has to be the most beautiful, doesn't it? Because she doesn't know how to do anything that isn't beautiful, let's face it. But I was on the fence about these, but they've even got almost like a bit of gold running through them. Can you see? It's just so gorgeous. I love it, so I really hope it works. So this fan brush is £40, described as classic yet distinct brush. And this is for applying powder with a delicate sweeping drape or blend with a precise edge. Whisper soft bristles leave a natural, seamless effect made specifically for Victoria's signature two-step bronzing technique using her matte bronzing brick. And that's because she's got the contour and the bronze. So I would imagine she would be suggesting you're using this to sort of contour and then sweep, maybe. It's not how I use fan brushes, but maybe I should try that at some point. Maybe I should have tried it with the bronzer, and I should have tried the other brush I had with the bronzer earlier, but anyway. I think what I will do is apply it like a blush on one side, this side, and on the other side I will use it as a highlighter. So because I've used the bronzer as a sort of blush here, I'm going to try it as just a highlighter only first, using the fan brush. And then just take it here. I do think this sort of shade doesn't work for me as a highlighter. I think it's definitely a glowy blush, I think. Gosh, all I see is gold sparkle. It's literally all I see showing up on me like this. This does not work for me as a highlighter. Absolutely not. It's the wrong colour. And all I see is gold sparkle, which is very sort of party vibe. I'm not seeing coral. Not used like this, but the brush is distributing this beautifully and quite perfectly as a highlighter brush. My hair's driving me mad, you know, all these flyaways. Just want to straighten it again. So here is how that is looking. Like I said, all I can see is gold sparkle. So I'm not overly confident about using this as a glowy blush, to be honest. The other brush I picked up from Victoria Beckham is this one here, number 15, the powder brush. And this one is £57. Each sweep of the fluffy powder brush feels whisper soft. Oh, it does, you know, it's so like the softness that we got from that Refa Holiday brush. It is incredibly soft. I find these more beautiful, you know, than the Sonia G brushes. Like I've got some of the wooden handles here. Here's an example of one of the wooden handle brushes from Sonia G. And then comparing it to this one for Victoria Beckham. I just think it's absolutely stunning. Like we had these beautiful ones at Christmas from Sonia G, which was plastic. They're nowhere near as beautiful as these Victoria Beckham. And obviously with Sonia G and the Refa brush, the holiday brush, which I'll show you as well, that's plastic as well. These are natural fibres. The Victoria Beckham is synthetic. But touch both, the Refa is softer. I can't take away from that. I don't think anything beats this Refa brush, nothing. But it's not far off, it really isn't. Like I've got here my Sonia G bronzer brush. If I compare the softness of that with this, honestly, it's slightly softer. The Victoria Beckham feels slightly softer. Wow. So this one says, each sweep of the fluffy powder brush feels whisper. Oh, I've already told you that. A lush and versatile tool designed for a light and even veil of loose or pressed powder. The powder brush air density and large round dome shape allows for seamless application of bronzer, blush and setting powder. So this isn't the normal shape I use for any of those things actually, but anyway, I'm going to try it today on this cheek where I have removed pretty much the bronzer slash highlighter slash blush that I've tried. And I'm going to take some of this on here. Actually, I'm going to swirl it. Look at all that. Tap it off a bit and then apply it. Oh, there we go. That shows up the colour now. So I'm using this as a glowy blush. Now this is really pretty, but I'm just seeing gold sparkle everywhere. It's like someone's thrown glitter all over my face, to be honest with you. That's just too much. And I don't think it's the spray, because like we said, I went over and over the spray. I love the colour as a blush, I love it. I need to stop applying it now, I'm going to look bonkers. But so built up, you can see I'm getting an awful lot of colour there. That's way too much, and I will need to calm it down. But it looks like I've got literally a tub of glitter on my face. Gold glitter, which does not work on my skin tone. I think if you've got sort of medium to dark skin tone, this could look gorgeous on you, if you like the sparkle. I really don't like that at all. I really do not like that. Let me go into my finishing powder and see if I can rescue my face a bit here. I think I'll try the Victoria Beckham brush, since it said to use it for that. So I'll use the same powder brush. The brush itself distributed everything beautifully and really nice and easy to use. I wouldn't say it works as well as the Sonia G buffer brush when it comes to finishing powder, which is just the perfect brush for that, but it is working well. It's just the shape rather than the actual quality. I like the shape of the buffer brush, but there is a buffer brush in this collection which I didn't get, so going by how much I love them so far, maybe I will. I'm hoping I've just calmed this down a bit, so I'm not just trying to soften the edges, I'm trying to really calm it down, otherwise I'm just going to look quite bonkers. So I don't like the bronzer much, it's just okay, and I hate the highlighter on me. So right now, along with my hair being all frizzy, I feel really awful, to be honest with you, so I'm hoping my eyes are going to improve the situation. I don't want to do this, but I'm going to put a little bit more on this side just to even things up. One place I think this would be nice actually is on the eyes. I think it would be pretty on the eyes. Nowhere else. So that's two products I've so far shown you that I don't think I'm ever going to use again. What an absolute disaster. The lip oil, beautiful, but the other two, no thank you. I'm even going to go in with my foundation brush again. I really just need to take this down. I think it looks hideous. So I'm going to take this lip oil off now and try one of the other lip products. So I've got here this really beautiful looking shade here from the Maximizer range. This is the shiny finish, and this one is Aqua Pop 094. I've got a swatch video of this, so I'll quickly play that for you. Gorgeous, isn't it? So I'm going to try this on its own, even though this for me is always a topper, but let's just see how it looks on its own. I do think I've got a bit of colour left on my lips from the lip oil, so it seems to have coloured my lips a bit. Lovely bit of sparkle. Very much a topper. And I think when you get this, if I'm going to be honest, I think it's very much falling for the way it looks, because what you see in here, which is gorgeous, you really just don't see it on the lips. You see sparkle, but you don't see the shades, even though they seem to be quite clearly sort of purpley, shifty, greeny shades in there. You don't see it on the lips. So it is a bit gimmicky from that respect. I'm glad I got it because I love it. I just think it looks beautiful, and I love the Glow Maximizers, but this is very much on its own a standard shiny lip gloss with a bit of plumping, and it would make a nice topper on top of anything because it's basically another clear. This is what happened with the sort of lilac-y one they did, which looked so beautiful, but it was basically a clear. So another one you don't need unless you need a clear, unless you just want to have this looking rather beautiful on your beauty vanity table. Anyway, let's now move to the eyes, and I'm going to start with the Coral Riviera. So before I do anything, here's my swatch video. So this comes with these brushes, which I'll tip out now, but usual sort of smudger brush. with the sponge tip, and then a blender brush. Quite good brushes. And here it is again. You can see now I've lost a lot of that gold already just from doing my swatch video. So this is adorned with the iconic Toile de Joux motif for the first time. The delicate details of the pattern are revealed by the luminous bronze pearlescent pigments in the powder. So it says that these pigments are in the powder. So I don't know if that means, are they just sprayed on top? Because you can see the gold has disappeared. Or whether the gold is going to run through the whole powder like it did with the Coral Glow. We'll have to wait and see. But this one is Coral Riviera, a vibrant coral accompanied by warm tones for a luminous defined look. And I do have here a blender brush from Victoria Beckham to test out. So again, we have this beautiful, beautiful handle. This one is the number 20 and it's just basically called the soft blend brush. I think I'll use this one as a transition shade. But the one thing I did think when I swatched this, and we do have really brilliant sunshine right now, so they're really showing up in my swatch videos more than usual. But I did feel like I was getting more pigment than usual. So this is slightly shimmery, but slightly less shimmery than the rest. But they've all got a bit of shimmer in. Even this one, which is a bit like a sort of satin, I think, but it's still very glowy, shiny finish. You can see I'm getting specks of gold. And the only way to tell you if this gold vanishes is to use this for a very long time. And with what I do, that's not likely to happen, I'm afraid. So if you do buy this and you do use it a lot, I'd love to hear from you. Does the gold disappear eventually? But it does say it's in the powder itself in the description, so maybe it doesn't. It's nowhere near as bad as the highlighter, the gold specks. It's much less. Very easy to apply. And perfect sort of transition shade actually. And the brush, fabulous. Very good. I really like the shape of this actually. It's not too fluffy and it's also not too small. It's almost exactly the right fit for my eyes. So that's a very good start. I'm already going to move. I've been using my Sonia G fluffy brush, so just to show you a comparison of the two. It's slightly less fluffy and slightly less big, and I actually prefer that so far from using it. I don't know about when I try to blend out really deep shades, but so far I really like that. So I'm moving my Sonia G out the way for now. And I'm going to go back into the transition shade I've used. And with my Wayne Goss number 6, I'm running it underneath. And then I'm going to use the same brush and I'm going to go into the coral pop in the middle here. And I'm actually going to take this one all over the lid. I really want to see the coral. Taking it just slightly above my lid because I've got hooded eyes, bringing it out slightly to the outer V section and taking it across the entire lid. So you can see just how glowy this coral is. It looks like it's not as glowy in the pan because it doesn't have the spray, I think, but it is. It's very glowy. Now somebody did ask me, I don't know if this could prove to be a complete disaster, but somebody did ask me if we could use these pop shades as blushes to help sort of justify the cost. So maybe I should try that, even though I really don't need any more right now. So I'm going to use my Sonia G brush here. Actually, no, I won't, because I've got another brush I didn't think I'd use from Victoria Beckham today. So this is a way of using it. So this is the only double-ended brush I got, but there are a number of double-ended brushes. This is the Sculpt and Blend brush. This one is £59. And this dual-ended brush is designed to adapt to every complexion product. You can use it for cream or powder, it says. This has the large tapered end to sweep and diffuse with cloud-like softness, while the precise smaller end gives targeted yet blended application. A versatile tool which works seamlessly with multiple formula types, making it your perfect travel companion. And I think it's not too big for me to fit into the middle here. So what I'm going to do is try that as a blush. Now obviously I've got that highlighter on. Let's just see if I do this. Can we get that sort of dual purpose? Oh, do you know, that's much nicer than that highlighter. That's actually a really nice blush shade. So I think if you get that highlighter and you use this as a blush and then put a tiny bit using something like a fan brush of the highlighter over the top. Now you can see I've still got the highlighter there, so I don't need to do that. But if you did that, you'd get that spray of gold then just slightly over the top. Because I cannot use that as a glowy blush. But this one, that's a lovely blush actually. So that's definitely cheered me up a bit. I need to slow down now before I end up wanting finishing powder, but yeah. So there we go. That works really well as a blush. And this brush did a very good job, really soft and distributing things very nicely. Oh, I really like these brushes. They're so nice to hold as well. I love them. Best design I've ever bought, ever. I'm talking about the handles now. I'm not saying that the brush itself is better than everything, because I don't think Refa will ever be beaten with that blush brush. But yeah, I'll try that on the pink side, even though I've got all that peach. But oh, that's lovely. And I do really like the coral pop I've got on my eye now. So that would work as a look in itself. I think you could just stop now, eyeliner, off you go. You've got yourself a nice coral eye and cheek. And I've just used that and that's it. But what I will do, because I want to show you everything, is I think I'll use my Wayne Goss. I'm going to go into this darkest one and take a tiny bit here to just deepen up a little bit. These shades are exceptionally warm. It's almost gone a sort of rusty colour, mixing it there with the coral. And now I'm taking this underneath, back in now with that Victoria Beckham, and maybe a little bit of this to just soften what I've done. As always, the powders with Dior, exceptionally easy. You cannot go wrong with them. They just blend together super easily. But I've now got a little bit more contrast with that little bit of depth there. I would quite happily leave this as it is now, to be honest, but I still need to try this one, which these two I haven't tried. So I'm going to take this one, I think, on my finger and put some over the coral. Gosh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? This would be nice all over the lid as well on its own. For me, what's standing out about this quint is you've got so many one and dones. So far, this in itself is a one and done. Maybe not this one, these two together, and this and this. So that's one look, two looks, and then you don't need to use that depth, but if you want to, you can. And then you could really just use these two or these two. I think that this is a numerous look quint, which I really like. Well, that shade's really pretty, and I think it would look really nice on its own. I'll take my BK Beauty 207 and go into the only one I haven't tried, and just pop a bit here on top of the coral. I don't know if this is going to even show up now. It's not light enough really to be an inner corner. I might just try it. Or maybe it is actually. Even though it's not the lightest one here, sort of is. Oh, I like that. And I think what I'll do is use the Refa 23 liner brush to go back into this to see if I can get a little bit more from the shade by lining a little bit more precisely. So not a huge difference, but I am getting more depth. If you look now at the line I've just created and then the line underneath, which I use the Wayne Goss No. 6 brush, it's definitely a bit more depth using this brush. So again, I'm going to go into that and then take it here. That's working very nicely there on the lash line. So this isn't a colour story. Well, I would say it is one of my favourites in a way, because I love this coral actually. I was going to say it's not a favourite, but I really like it. I've really enjoyed using this Victoria Beckham brush, which I will use on the other side as well. But I do want something underneath the eye that's a bit light and not shimmery. We've had so much glitter so far in this look. So I'll go into my very predictable Tom Ford Black Diamond and take this one under the eye to finish the look. I say under the eye, under the brow is what I meant. So there is the look with Coral Riviera. It is very beautiful, but I do think having used all shades together, it always seems to happen with Dior, well not always, but very often, that they tend to just blend almost into one, so you don't see the difference enough. And that's because I've used every shade, and I think you can get some really good looks by not doing that. So I think this is a lovely quint for lovely looks, and you can get perfect looks just using 2 or maybe 3 max if you're using that as a liner. So definitely try that if you get this, and definitely try this as a blush, because I thought that was fabulous. And somebody did ask me how this might compare to the Natasha Denona Bloom, because a lot of people get quite overwhelmed with a palette of this size, but they want these colours. So it's very much reduced when you pay a very similar amount for Dior, but you just get a very reduced option. So I'm just going to see now, are there any colours that are slightly similar? So here are the comparisons. This side is Natasha Denona Bloom and this side is the Dior Quint. So we can get similar shades here with that deepest brown from Dior, not quite as deep as Natasha Denona. The coral from Dior is quite similar to the shimmery coral in Natasha Denona, but obviously it's more shimmer because they're different finishes. And then basically this is comparing 3 shimmery shades from both that look relatively similar, not completely. But you could definitely get a very, very similar look. So I think in answer to that question, you can basically create similar looks that you can get with the Natasha Denona Bloom, but with less choices. So if you want to spend around the same amount for Dior and get less choices because you like to keep it simple, then yes, it probably would do the job. I don't think the formulas are quite as good as Natasha Denona, if I'm going to be very honest. I think Natasha Denona's formulas are exceptional, and they're more pigmented and they a little bit more wow in terms of the shimmer and the finish on the shimmer and the shine. But I do really like these. I'm not finding them too dry. Maybe this one and this, no, this one wasn't, sorry. This one and this one's a little bit dry. This one here is beautiful. That's probably the best shade in it. And this one here, very nice to work with, and so is this. These two, like I said, a tiny bit dry, but not too bad. This one was probably the best out of these two. And this one has a really nice finish. This one actually reminds me a bit of the Natasha Denona. But also, if you're thinking of spending this amount, so £61 is the actual amount, I just want to show you the difference between the powder I think is the current top, and that's Tom Ford in terms of formula. So we don't really have a shade match much, but this is a very warm one that's just launched. I've done a review on this one. I think it's my most recent one, the Bronze Isle, this one's called. I just want to show you, if I compare two, maybe this one and this one, because they're slightly similar, just so that you can see the difference in the quality. This one's Dior, and then this one is Tom Ford. I mean, there really is no comparison, to be honest. But in fairness, I will go into this one because I thought that was a nicer, less dry finish with more of a shine, but it's definitely nowhere near as soft and velvety as the Tom Ford. It just doesn't have this lovely, perfect, smooth finish that you get from Tom Ford. So £15 more will get you Tom Ford, and I think you will get 10 times the quality of powder, if I'm going to be brutally honest. Anyway, let's move on to the pink, which is the one I'm more looking forward to trying. And before I do that, here is my swatch video for you. So this one is the Pink Riviera 974, a bright pink and a range of cool shades for a captivating look. So shades that suit me a little bit better, in all honesty. So just before I try this on, let me just try on my next lip maximizer shade for you. So this one is Garnet Fizz number 092. So this one does look like it's got quite a bit more pigment. So fingers crossed for a bit of pigment. Oh gosh, yes. That's a lot. I can't actually believe that this is a maximizer. Have I picked up the wrong product? Nope, this is the right product. I'm just gobsmacked at that pigment. Look at that. That is something else. That really is. I love that. If you're looking to see which ones are new, by the way, on the Dior website, it is a bit confusing. So when you go on there and you look at the colours, it's the last ones that are the recent colours. And I think there's 4 new shades. I could be wrong there, but basically if you see Garnet Fizz, or if you see the other one I showed you, the Aqua Pop, and it's with those, they'll be the last ones because there's so many of these shades now. But anyway, that's how you find it. That's got me confused in the past. But this is Garnet Fizz. Wow, so that looks like a lipstick, doesn't it? And it's quite grippy, you know, the Maximizer, so I think that'll really stay for quite a long time. I'm very impressed with that. So now with this one, I think I'll go into this pink here, a movie purpley pink. And I'm using the Victoria Beckham blender brush, and I'm going to use this as my transition shade. Oh, that's pretty. Really pretty shade. And again, I think I'm going to find exactly the same with this one, that this is going to be so much better if you use 1 or 2 and not all 5. But I will do it to show you them. This one already is telling me this is a one and done shade. Look at it. It's a really pretty spring summer one and done. Oh, that's lovely. So when you think what you'd pay for a reasonably good quality one and done on its own, and this has basically got 5, then you could argue it's quite good value, because that's 5 one and dones, and I think they really do serve as that. The brush again, working very nicely, and I'll go in with the Wayne Goss with the same shade to take it underneath. The only thing I would say is it doesn't look particularly cool toned to me like it's supposed to be. It looks a little bit warm. I think the gold flecks in it are making it look warm. Let's hopefully change that now by going straight into this pink and doing exactly the same thing I did on this side and taking this all over the lid. Oh, that's such a pretty pink. Look at that. I'm using the blender brush. I should be using the Wayne Goss for this, I think. I'm going to take this pink into the outer V as well. See how these two blend together? And a little bit of this pink just above my hooded lid there. I do think I want to go into the very lightest shade with the brush, the blender brush, and just sort of soften the edge a bit, hoping that's light enough, because I've got a lot of pigment there, which is something you don't often hear me saying when I'm doing a Dior review. But that is, for Dior, quite a lot of pigment, isn't it? Just these together, these two, it's giving that sort of sunset vibe, which I wouldn't expect looking at that in the pan, because it looks like a purple. It must be the gold coming through. I'm not unhappy with the sunset vibes. I do love the sunset sort of looks. I'll take some of this pink on the Wayne Goss and take it underneath as well, I think. Oh, I really like this pink. That is lovely. So the pink on its own would work really nicely as well. And again, this is where I think it becomes overload when you use too many of them. So I think this time I'll just go in with the Refa 23, if I can find it, into this deeper shade here, and I'll just use it as a liner rather than going for too much depth. So I'll run it underneath there as my liner, and then tight to the lash line. That really shows up actually on the pink, this shade, look, it really does. This has got a reddish brown tone. And then I'm going to go into this lightest one, put some of it on my finger. This is the one I just used at the very top. I'm going to just take that into the inner corner to see if it brings a slight sort of light sparkle there. So these are all so sparkly, it's just sparkle upon sparkle, and for me I think, especially with mature eyes, it's too much, which is definitely why I'd go with 2 to 3 max and not all of them like this. But yeah, this is like a really good topper shade actually. So I've completely rubbed off the gold on this one now doing that, and I'm still getting quite a lot of gold sparkle, definitely. So as the description said, it seems to run all the way through, so you need to think about that if you don't like the gold sparkle, because these are all gold sparkle bar the middle shade. And then a little bit here is my inner corner. But because of that gold sparkle, I don't think these work terribly well as inner corner. They're too pigmented for me. No, I don't think that works on me. I think I need to rescue that with my Tom Ford Black Diamond again. So going into this shade, I'm going to put it on the inner corner over that pink. I'm actually going to do the same on this side because I still think that that one's too much. I need a bit more light. But what I will try now is the same brush from Victoria Beckham, and I'm going to not go into that, Hannah, that would be a disaster. I'm going to go into this pink to see if we can use this as a pinky blush. Just going over the coral now, so this isn't a perfect way of showing you this, but it's just to give you an idea, and that definitely works. I really like this idea of using it as a blush. The amount of gold sparkle on my face from that coral glow is ridiculous. Even when I've put all that powder over the top, all I can see is gold sparkle. I am not particularly loving much here. I'm liking things, but I'm not loving them. I think putting all these colours together is definitely a mistake. But a mistake I've made on purpose because of review purposes. But I think going back, I could make a really nice look with 2 or 3, as I keep saying. So I'm not saying that these are a fail. I think just putting all 5 on is going to make it almost a fail. It's almost an unfair way to review it. It's tricky because I want to show you all the shades. And I wanted to do side by side. If I was just going to show you one, I'd probably show you 2 different looks with one. So I maybe try that in shorts reels. Look out for shorts reels. If I get the opportunity, I will probably try 2 looks with each, so you can see 2 different ways to wear it. And I do think I need to go in with my finishing powder just a little bit to calm my cheeks, and then I'll put my mascara on and put that last lip on. In fact, before I do that, let me put the lip on to let it dry down, because it says it's got to dry down so we can test it. So I'll take this off because I've got a lip stains test next. So this is the new Dior Addict Lip Tint, and I picked this up in 671 Natural Raspberry. So this is the first no transfer for Dior lip tint with a 12-hour long-lasting wear that highlights the lips with a bold colour in a semi-matte finish and fuses with the skin for a bare lip sensation. This is composed of 94% natural origin ingredients infused with cherry oil to hydrate for 24 hours. And this is available in a palette of fresh and vibrant shades such as beige, raspberry, vibrant coral, or even intense plum. This Dior lip tint flatters all skin tones and beautifies them. So I'm going to put it on now, let it really dry down so we can test the no transfer. Gosh, that is really, really cooling. Very lightweight, quite almost watery it feels like. Not burning, but it feels ice cold. Well, that's gone on very, very easily. I love this colour. It just feels like a very, very thin, super lightweight fluid has gone onto my lips, which when it dries down might make my lips feel really dry. We'll just leave it. I'll go off camera, sort my mascara out, and we'll be back to see how this is looking and see my final look and final thoughts. So the Coral Riviera and the Pink Riviera on cheeks as well, remember, ever so slightly. Which one do you prefer? I thought I'd prefer the pink, but I think I'm actually leaning towards the coral, because the pink isn't cool enough for me as I was hoping. I just quickly, before I go, found a Dior palette that's quite similar. This is the Diorshow 5 colour in 923, and this one's called Popeline Peach, which is a bit strange really when you look at the colour story, but anyway. This is the Pink Riviera. They're quite similar colour stories if you ignore the gold. So I've swatched these side by side, and here is the new quint that we've had for the summer, and here is this one. So can you see what I mean about how we are definitely getting more pigment than we usually get with Dior? Look how pale that is. That's a classic Dior quint sort of swatch. So we're definitely getting more pigment, and I think that some of these shades are looking a lot more smooth and better quality than previous ones from Dior. So definitely an improvement there. And there's one other comparison I want to make for you. Is this one here, 333 Coral Flame. And I'm comparing this to the Coral Riviera. So there are some similarities here, but again, we are getting more pigment with this new one. So if you see the two swatched out here, this one is the new one and this is the Coral Flame. So a bit more pigment with this, but I do think the Coral Flame does not swatch with as much pigment as the the Coral Riviera, this one, doesn't swatch it with as much pigment as the Pink Riviera, definitely, but slightly more pigment here than we got with this. But obviously we're getting different finishes, so I am comparing more of a sort of topper there. But there are similarities as well. I wouldn't say you'd need both, so if you have those in your collection, you might have something a bit similar. But I do think there's an improvement in the Dior formula, so that's good. More pigment and slightly smoother, slightly more of a wow factor to the shimmer finishes. So I do think there's an improvement, but at the same time I'm not getting a really good topper shade to really finish it off and give me that inner corner shine I like, or the overall shine to bring that bit of light to the eyelid. There's nothing in any of these quints that's given me that. So I'll just like give you an example. For instance, in my favourite Tom Ford, I always bring this out, the Black Diamond. This is one of the best toppers I've ever tried. If I put this on the eye, look at the difference this makes straight away when you've got a brilliant topper. Look at that. That's what this is lacking. Each shade is like a one and done really, but none of them would work for that purpose or for that sparkle. I mean, this is, I genuinely think that this is the best topper I've got. I love it. Which is why I dip in and out of the Tom Ford Diamond all the time. But I'll put it on top of both because it'll give me that, I know I've got plenty of sparkle, but it's bringing a bit of brightness and just completely transforming the look. With a formula that just seems to be missing from these quints, in my opinion, which is a shame. And there we go. The magic of Tom Ford Diamond has now transformed the look. See now if this lip stain has completely dried down. It's been a good 10 minutes now. Wow. Absolutely zero transfer. Isn't that brilliant? And I've still got quite a lot of hydration. I know I need to reach for lip balm fairly soon, but it's not completely drying my lips out. And they've also got quite a bit of shine. I am seeing a bit of sparkle, but then I've had so much sparkle on my face, it could be coming from anywhere. That is really, really good. We have a standout product from my review, and it's the lip stain. Wow. Oh, I love that. Well, I will put on top the Maximizer, the one I said, which you'd never think that this colour would go, these two. But I just think this is a clear gloss. So let's put it on top. And I won't damage the wand and stain it, hopefully. Oh, that looks lovely on top. Now, you know, on top of colour, I can see that little sparkle of green. Because it stands out against the bright raspberry in the background. And I really like that. Oh, wow. Oh, that's definitely the way to use it. So it's not just looking pretty on the shelf. I'm getting to see the green sparkle. Oh, that is lovely. Oh, I love it. I do hope that sparkle is coming across on camera, because I'm definitely seeing not just sparkle but flecks of green as I turn my face, which I absolutely love. You'd need to love that because you literally can see spots of green glitter. You can't feel it, but you can see it, and I just think that's great. And I don't think, when I said it doesn't go, I think that tiny little amount of glitter, it'll go with any look really, but it works with this. So anyway, probably a better lipstick to go with the pink side. So that's how the pink side is looking if you just cancel out the coral. But if we look again now at the coral, actually it works quite nicely with the coral. So maybe the raspberry goes quite well with both. Oh, I love my eye look now that I've put the Tom Ford on the top. So it's been a bit of a strange one today. As you've seen, I've been on the struggle bus from the moment I started this video. In fact, for the hour beforehand when I hated the way my hair styled. Then going on to everything else. The bronzer just doesn't work for me as a bronzer. It does work as a blush, but not when I'm likely to want to use. The glow, the Coral Glow is as a glowy blush, way too glittery, way too much gold, doesn't work on my skin tone. As a highlighter, it doesn't work either. It probably would work as a slight light topper. So yeah, the Coral Glow Luminizer is an extremely light topper using something like the fan brush. Does sit quite nicely on top of a corally type of blush. So you don't have to use the one obviously from this quint, but that worked very well actually. So I think that's the only way to use this, but for my skin tone I would never buy it just for that. Apart from it would make a beautiful eyeshadow, it really would. So if you do get this, you could use it as that sort of topper plus eyeshadow and it would work for that. But if you've got darker skin tone, you might get on with this much better. But you do need to be happy with this gold, which like I said, I've tried to determine whether it's just a gold overspray, but I've gone over and over and over it and the gold seems to be running through it. Same with the eyeshadows. And then I would say my favourite has to be the lip products. The lip maximizers, I always love those, so there's no problem there, but I was really quite blown away with this one because the colour on it, as we saw, gave me a full sort of lipstick shade. So definitely if you're looking for colour but still getting that plumping sort of cooling effect you get from the maximizer, which is so nice to wear. So that shade in particular, absolutely gorgeous. So just going over that shade in case you missed it. Garnet Fizz, which is number 092. And then we had the Aqua Pop, which I'm now wearing on top here, which is number 094. Looks stunning in the bottle, will look really pretty on my beauty counter or one of my shelves. And I love the sort of green sparkle I'm getting on top of a rich colour, so that's definitely the way I'll be wearing this. Really, really like that. And the standout is probably the lip stain out of the lip products. I mean, I did actually miss out the lip oil here, which is, where have you gone? Here, the lip oil. Loved that, loved the way it wore, loved the doe foot. Like I said, I can't remember if I've tried the glow oils before from Dior. I just cannot remember, but I certainly loved it. And I think this had enough colour to give me my lips but better finish. So very, very nice, very comfortable, not sticky, not gloopy, and grippy. So perfect sort of lip oil. Very sort of as good as, almost, not quite, as the Guerlain BB ones. Is it BB? I've got them sat here because I can't live without them. These ones, almost as nice as these, which are my absolute favourites. The Kiss Kiss Bee Glow, not BB. Oh God, I need a coffee. Anyway, the lip stain, there's no transfer with this. You saw this. I'm going straight on the Dior website and I'm ordering another shade because I really like having a lip stain, a colour that can last me without me having to go back and check. I will report back, not today, because I don't think 2 hours is enough on this, so I will use this again throughout the week and I will report back and let you know if this is lasting me till the end of the day after eating and drinking. I'll be fascinated to see that actually, so I will check. This is me whilst editing 2 hours later after 2 coffees. Can you see that it's already worn off here? So I've still got sort of a liner on the top lip, but it's worn off there and it's worn off a bit there. So it didn't go beyond 2 hours and now it looks strange and patchy. So even though I rave about it in this video, it didn't work so well. The shininess is because I've put a lip balm on again because I'm always applying lip balm. But yeah, it hasn't worn that well and luckily I haven't gone in and bought another one. But the standout probably of this whole review was actually these brushes from Victoria Beckham. I think they are absolutely gorgeous and I nearly missed them. I saw the price of them and I thought they're natural, they're just synthetic and they cost a fortune. And they do, let's face it, they are an investment, but I think they are now the most beautiful brushes in my whole collection and I didn't think it was possible to top Sonia G or Refa in beauty. And I've got Chica Hodo here. I've got really good brushes. These, they feel nicer than any I've tried. I love the sort of ergonomic handles. I love the shape of them. I love this smooth wood. I love the different shades in the brush. Like the fan one really shows it off. It's just gorgeous. And they work beautifully. They work and feel like natural brushes. I would say I'd go back and get more, but I would say I've only bought the ones I'm likely to use from this collection. So I'm hoping there'll be more brushes from the Victoria Beckham collection, because if there are in the shapes I use, I will definitely get more. I just think the ones I skipped I wouldn't necessarily use, apart from possibly the buffer brush. So maybe I'd go back for that, but then I love my buffer brush from Sonia G, the Buffer Pro. I use it all the time and the shape is perfect for me. And the shape of the buffer brush from Victoria Beckham isn't quite the same, so I wasn't so tempted. The fan brush, I've got loads in this shape, but I think it was the beauty that really drew me in. It's also a slightly bigger fan. When I look at the sort of the fine tips on the edge there where it tapers off, it's slightly different. So if I very quickly show you the ones I use all the time. I've got this one here from Sonia G. Obviously this one's a much, much smaller one. Which one's this? This is just called the Fan Pro. And it doesn't have those tapered tips. And then we've got the Refa, which I use all the time. That does have slightly tapered tips, but not as tapered, you can see. And not quite as big. But it's the same sort of thickness. I do think this one's better, you know. And then I've got this massive fan brush, which for me is a very different type of brush that you'd never use for highlighter. I wouldn't anyway. And this one's Sonia G. This one's actually got that wooden handle, so it's quite interesting to compare these. So this has that sort of walnut type of wood. I'm not sure if it is walnut. So you can see it looks very similar actually. Almost an exact match in wood for the Victoria Beckham. It just doesn't have this calligraphy pen style where they've actually changed the shape, which is so nice to hold. They are beautiful. So they're my new favourite brushes. They really are. I probably still use Rapha the most, and the Wayne Goss number 6. I can't live without that. But these, they really are special. So there we go. I think I've gone through everything, which has been a lot. So this will be another long video. I do apologise for how long these videos are, but I like to go into a lot of detail, especially when you're spending this much money. Those brushes cost a fortune, and so does the Dior collection. And if I was going to say to you, what do you need from the Dior collection right now? The only thing I would say to get would be the lip stain. I don't know if, I would imagine that's permanent. I can't see that being limited edition. So I would check the website, see what it says, but I doubt that's limited edition. Possibly this one is limited edition though. I don't know, but I would probably get that one as well, in my opinion. I love that. The lip oil, if you've already got one in a similar colour, like I just showed you with Galan, you don't need it. It's not particularly better than any of the ones I've got, but it is one of the better ones, I'd say. So definitely think about that one, and certainly think about this one, the Garnet Fizz, because that one's really got a lot of pigment, the Maximizer. So they would be my ones I'd recommend, but I think the eyeshadow quints are just okay. I do think though, it's definitely worth saying again how use 1 or 2 shades and I will have a very, very different view. So I'm definitely going to try that over the coming days, and I'm definitely going to show you, even if I'm reviewing a different product. Like tomorrow, I think I'll be doing the Fenty collection, for instance. There's no eyeshadows to review, so I might tomorrow, when I film that, try one of these, probably the pink to go with the cherry of the Fenty, and I'll try 2 looks with it. So you can see what I mean about how this can be a very different look if you just go for a couple of shades rather than all 5. So I do think you're getting some almost pretty much 5 one and dones in these, which I think is really good, and I think used that way they are actually really nice. I just would like one of the shades in it to have this sort of topper sparkle finish like we get with the Black Diamond, but Black Diamond is the best quad on the planet. So these are quints, but anyway, they are good and I do like them, but that's all I'll say. And that's about it. I would love to hear your thoughts on everything I've tried today, and have you already ordered anything that I'm showing you today? If you have you tried it? What are your thoughts? Or are you skipping everything? Whatever you've got to say about anything, I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts and share any tips and tricks with everybody. And if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you did, and if you already have, you're at the end of another review, and I really appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you again for my next review. Oh dear, coffee time. Take care everybody, bye.